To all of my aspiring authors, returning authors, and those who just have this nudge in the back of their mind that one day this might happen for you. I want you to hear something. Today, we're going to be talking about blogging your way to your next or your first book. And what that means is you can do it. You can do it if it's an idea. You can do it if it's something that's progressed farther than just an idea. And if you are already an author, you can become an author of another book. And what a great way to do that than blogging and using your blog articles as pieces of your book, chapters, or partial chapters. But blogging is an excellent way to get into the habit of writing so that you can get a book done. So I'm VLynn Hawkins. I am co-founder of Vegan Visibility Productions with my amazing co-host and co-founder, Kathleen Gage.
Hello.
And we are doing our Vive Live today about, guess what? Blogging your way to writing your book. Kathleen, hey.
I'm so excited because I'm definitely on one today. I had a great workout. I've been eating super healthy, and I am so excited about this topic because we're going to talk about the 3 things that you actually need to keep in mind as you're blogging your way to your next book. And I've been an author for, it's going on over 20 years now that I wrote my first book. And I tell you, I struggled through it. It was a very time-consuming process, where writing a book is time consuming. There's no 2 ways about it, but there are ways that you can actually streamline what you're doing. There are ways that you can shortcut what you're doing, and blogging your way to a book is one of the best choices. Now, I know there are people who have courses, blog a book in a weekend. You can put something out in a weekend, but is it going to be quality? The strategy that we're sharing with you today about blogging your way to a book is a longer process where you actually are very methodical about the process of writing, and you're getting social proof by the fact that you're putting blog posts up to see if people even have an interest in it. Because it's kind of like when people create a product and then they try to find a market for it. No, you find the market and you find the need first, and then you create the thing, whatever the thing is. And in this case, it's a book. Because if you're writing just to be writing and you have no interest of using it as a way to be a lead generator, to create revenue, and to build your business, that's one conversation. The conversation that we're in today and that we are in often with our clients is using a book to build your business, build your impact, your credibility, your visibility, all of that. And most of all, generating revenue so you can keep doing your good work in the world. So, VLynn?
Well, I love how you brought in all of the aspects of book writing. And one of the things that I really want to make clear is that if there's a block, if there's something that you've been telling yourself, I'm not an author, I can't write, or if someone has made a comment to you, oh, this was okay. When you're thinking that it's a great book, maybe that wasn't the right person to share that book with, and you decided to stop because that was just so disheartening that you felt like it wasn't worth pursuing more. You would just focus on the business and the book would happen maybe. Well, we want to really give you some strategic ideas, some real sound strategies. They're beyond ideas. They're real sound strategies on writing a book that will get you beyond some of the things you may have encountered that have stopped you. It's one thing to know that you're writing a book, that you want to write a book, but why? Let's dive into that one first. Why do you want to write this book? What is the book going to do? Kathleen mentioned about using it as a tool, and it is a tool that can be used to grow your business, but it actually has to be aligned with your business. It has to be aligned with your purpose and your passion, and it has to be aligned with your audience and what your audience needs that will draw them closer to you. And that's what happens when you're writing blog articles. You're in that space. You're writing for the audience. You're writing the content that means something to you, that means something to your audience. And what we're going to be sharing, these three things that we're going to be sharing, are really the thread, the golden thread that is woven through the writing process that you need to know to help you to get through it more smoothly, stay with your writing more consistently, and really bring out the important aspects of what you want your readers, your audience, your ideal clients to hear from you. So, Kathleen, what is the first of these three
Well,
things?
the first is strategic outlining, to really be strategic about how you're going to map out what your blog posts are going to be about. But I want to take a step back to alignment, and I want to give you a quick story of why this is so important. When you become well known within your market because you're a writer, because you're a podcaster, whatever it may be, you have people that approach you and they want you to review their books. I had somebody who approached me the other day and they said, would you review this book on health and nutrition? I thought, okay, let me see what the book is even about. And I looked at the cover and it literally had steak on the cover. And I'm like, oh, you're way in the wrong ballpark here. And I wrote them and I said, I'm a vegan and I will not review your book because it's got steak on the cover. And it's like completely out of alignment. So as you're writing your book, think of your market and what would be aligned with them. But strategic outlining is the first step. And what that means is, let's say that you're going to have 12 chapters in your book. You could actually have a period of 12 weeks that every day you do a short blog post on one topic that is going to be a chapter. So first you outline what are the chapters, what's the main theme of the book, and you may not have a title quite yet. That's okay. Then what are the 12 chapters? We'll just use that as an example. Now, keeping in mind, you have to be flexible because it may be that as you're writing, all of a sudden you get another idea and you go, oh, this is a really important thing to add to the book. But you have that roadmap that you can use to start writing. So title or theme, then you have the 12 chapters, and then commit that every day or every other day or 3 times a week, whatever it may be, that you're going to write something that ties in with that first topic. So let's say that we're going to write a book on podcasting, how to have a successful podcast. That'll be the working title. That's probably not going to be the title, but that'll be the working title. Then we come up with 12 chapters. What are 12 things people would need to know? And then with each chapter, first of all, you have to know, what are you an expert at? So that could be chapter 1. Next, you have to get your marketing collateral together. That could be another chapter. How to find podcast opportunities, how to set up your home studio. That could be another chapter. Then with each of those, you would actually, or we would, write something about that particular chapter. VLynn?
I love that. And, there are numerous ways of creating your outline. Kathleen gave you one, starting with, and it's always going to start with the overall theme, but then saying, okay, I know I want to have 12 chapters. And her way of developing the 12 systematically is one way. And you could also say, I already know what my chapters are, and maybe there's only 7. Then you've got your structure there, but it all comes down to the outline. And the value of the outline is that it's kind of like you're drawing a picture. You got your coloring picture, right? And you're drawing whatever the image is. And then you've got your colors, and you know where your colors are going to go in the image. And you take the crayon or the colored pencil and you can color in that particular thing right on that particular chapter. And you'll also know that in the outline, you have room for sub outlines. And this is an important piece too. I want to go back to the picture analogy. There's different hues and shades of color. Well, there are different aspects of a particular title that you may need to outline to make sure that you address each of those elements. So for instance, podcasting, setting up your studio, setting up your studio, and then you're talking about lighting. You're talking about camera positioning. You're talking about shadows. You're talking about different things within that topic line. And so those are what we call subcategories. And within your outline, you want to take the time to think broad and then bring it in and develop those subtitles, those sub categories within your outline. And it's important because, again, this is all part of structuring the roadmap for your writing journey. You know, you wouldn't drive from Atlanta to Eugene, Oregon without knowing the points and places in between that you'll want to stop overnight, because that you can't do that in one day. And then you'll also want to kind of pick out, maybe I'll stop at the what's a big vegan place between here and there? It's like, you can pick those points that you want to stop at. And those are like your subcategories. I know I took a trip one time across country, and for me, it was really important to see some things I had never seen before. So from Baltimore to Columbus, Ohio, I went to Canton to the NFL Football Hall of Fame. I spent a day there, and then I drove from Columbus to San Francisco, and I went to Kansas City to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I went to 3 other places in between. Those were like my subcategories, because I knew what my destinations were, where I was going to spend the night, but then in between, I could plan on what I wanted to fill in as the content that I would be getting. And, in this case, that you will be giving to your reader.
I love that. And, I first of all, I want to remind everybody that you are listening to our live stream, the Vegan Visibility Productions live stream. And one of the items under our umbrella is the Veganpreneur Revolution podcast, which is coming very, very soon. We have some amazing, amazing guests. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead. You're probably watching this after the fact on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit a like button, give us a review, give us a thumbs up, and share it with other people, because our whole mission is about raising awareness around the vegan industry, the vegan market, and the compassion to animals and everything that goes with that. I was thinking about the trip. When I was 30, I actually went on a spiritual quest, and I decided to do it without a map. And I was headed to India, quite seriously. From Berkeley, California, I was headed to India. I was going to hitchhike there. And I did. I made it as far as the West Bank of Israel. And what I realized was I didn't have my map, and I flunked geography in high school because I was too busy doing other things. But quite seriously, it was like I had no map, and I just kind of went wherever I was led to go. That was a whole different kind of trip, but I'll tell you, it opened up some really challenging situations. It probably took a lot longer than if I just wanted to get from point A to point B quickly. And so having that map is such a great idea. That's the strategic planning and the strategic writing and outline that we're talking about. The next thing that's really, really, really important, and I can't tell you, VLynn, the number of times I hear people say, I need to be inspired to write. Well, the reality is that some of the most successful writers in the world, in history, said, inspiration is not something that's going to hit me and I suddenly start writing. I think it was Stephen King who said that at 9 o'clock in the morning, he's in his office and he's writing every day. And even if nothing's coming, he's in his office and he's writing every day. And so what our recommendation to you is, with your blogging to your book, is be consistent in your writing. If you say, I'm going to write a post 3 days a week, then doggone it, you put it on your calendar, and you, no matter what, you're going to do some writing for maybe a half hour and you get that blog post done. However, you need to schedule it or position it so that you are consistent in your writing, because I think that's the one mistake a lot of people make, is that they wait to be inspired. It's like going to the gym. VLynn, you and I both, we have a goal of participating in a half marathon around the Thanksgiving holiday. And that's a few months away. Well, in order to do that, we need to train for it on a consistent basis. We need to go to the gym on a consistent basis. And I'll tell you, when it's 32 degrees outside, I certainly don't feel like running to the gym. I just don't feel like doing that. But I do know that if I want to be ready for November, and I had a good test of that the other day. I haven't run in probably a month because we've had ice storms, and we've had some real problems going on in our area. I finally went on a run the other day. It was a short 2-mile run. The next day, my legs are just like, oh my gosh, they're so sore. I haven't worked them for a while. You know, it was last week. What's the problem? It was because I ran 2 miles where I've run 26 miles. So I'm not prepared. So I have to consistently get out there and train so that I'm ready in November. It's the same with your book. You have to consistently write. VLynn?
Reminds me of the story that Wayne Dyer talked about as far as writing his books. His routine was for each book, he would book his trip to his home in Maui.
Mm-hmm.
And family visiting or whatever between the hours of, say, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., because he was one to actually write the entire book. He'd write the entire manuscript before he would stop to do something else. And I remember him telling the story of one book where he was actually in Maui and his family was there too. And they were trying to convince him to spend less time writing and more time with them. And his pushback was, I've made a commitment to you and I've made a commitment to my writing, and I have to honor them both. And so he did his time writing. He finished his book in his scheduled time, and yet he had time to spend quality time with his family because of how he made his commitments.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in writing, there's a certain thing, as in many things, working out being one of them. When you start to do something consistency, you actually gain some momentum. And the momentum that you gain in your writing process is that it becomes easier and easier. It's something that you say that because you're committed to doing it, it can be consistent.
Right.
And because you're consistent, the universe actually answers us when we're doing this thing in integrity and consistency. And, no matter the challenges, we're still going to persevere. And it doesn't mean you might not miss a day, but you're back and you're doing. And in that momentum, you're able to accomplish the milestone goals that you set up for yourself. And that's a key
Absolutely.
piece of making your book completion a real goal. There's one book that I wrote 10 years ago that I got to a certain point of completion and got some feedback on it that actually it became one of those things on the shelf. I share it every once in a while in its manuscript form, but I've made a commitment to finish that book to publication, because not only was it important information then, it's still valid and valuable information now. So if you've got one of those books, it's the same process, bringing it out, looking at
Right.
it from the
Right.
standpoint of the outline and then the content, and doing it in a writing routine that actually fits with what you want to do. If it's in the morning, have your space ready at night where you can get up, do what you have to do in the morning, and go to your writing space. It's ready for you. If it's in the evening, then clear out whatever you have to clear out and bring your writing stuff out. If it's lunchtime, then go to that lunchtime place in your house, or whether it's the car, wherever it is, to do this consistently and get it done.
Okay, so we've covered strategic outline, consistently writing, and the third one is social proof. What we mean by that is that you can get feedback from your community to see if people enjoy your writing or if maybe you need to make some adjustments. When you were talking about the book that's on the shelf, I've got one and it's my memoir. And a memoir is very different than a business book. A memoir, I didn't realize what was going to come up while I was writing my memoir. And so, for my own reasons, I put it on hold. I do plan to bring it out and dust it off, but I don't know when. I'm not that committed to getting that book out right now. But business books, I am very committed to, especially within the vegan space, because one thing I know is that a lot of vegan businesses don't know how to market themselves. And that's what we're committed to do, is to help vegan businesses do so. So in order for us to get our books out, we have to have our strategic outline. We have to consistently write, and we're going to be using our blog to do that. And we have to get social proof. Are we on target with what we're writing? It's the same with you. Ask for feedback. Ask, when you write a blog post, so what do you think about such and such, whatever the topic may be? If all you hear is crickets, well, maybe you're not on target, or maybe you're not marketing your blog post enough. There's a number of factors that go into it. So the 3 elements that we've talked about are strategic outline, consistently writing, and your social proof. VLynn, what are your thoughts on social proof?
Social proof is something that, excuse me, a blog can really contribute to, because there are so many ways that you can ask questions about what it is that you've written and get responses from those questions that you ask. That is part of the social proof process. But even more than that, asking for comments. Just, one of our clients is just like, please write a review, good, bad, or indifferent. Just write a review. But that is a question that you have to put out there. Would you please write a review? It doesn't just happen.
Right.
You have to take a proactive stance on creating the opportunity for that feedback to come back to you. If you've got your manuscript to a certain point, you need to be ready to put it out there, to ask for someone to write the forewords, for someone to write the preface, for someone to write acknowledgments and endorsements. And you can't be emotionally entangled with whatever it is that someone says or writes. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is this thought: everything is not for everyone, and everyone is not for everyone. And
Right.
when you have that straight for yourself, you don't get into, oh, this was amazing, or I thought they would have written something better. You just take what someone has written. It's their opinion. It's one of my mentors said, opinions are like elbows. Everybody has got 2 of them.
Your mentor was a little more polite than mine. I won't tell you what my mentor said.
I can imagine. But, just know that the feedback that you're getting is the feedback from a certain person's perspective.
Right.
Take it as it is. The words that are being said, maybe they're valid, maybe they're not. And for you, if it's good feedback and good information, use it. One of my clients got feedback on his book from someone who said it would be really nice. It was kind of a life story book, but it had a lot of scientific backing to it. And the request was, if you write a second book, which I hope you do, which is a great endorsement, right? That means they liked the first one.
Right.
Might I suggest that you give us more of a perspective of you? So it was the life journey, and people were saying, you were on this plant-based journey, but what did you eat on these days that you were doing these amazing things? How did you exercise? When did you go to the gym? When did you do this hiking, the training that you did? Was it morning, afternoon, evening? Those are the kinds of feedbacks that's the kind of feedback that you can get, and take that to heart. That's valuable feedback. So looking at social proof, that is the kind of social proof that you're looking for. That's the kind of social proof that you're going to get. Blogging is an amazing way to get it more easily than saying, here's my book, can you give me feedback?
Right. I love what you said about, taking the critiquing to heart, because a lot of times we're very jaded in the amount of information that we know, that we assume that because we know it, everybody knows it. For example, I've been vegan for a while. I've been plant-based for gosh, 6 years now. And when I first started out, I had questions that may seem very elementary, but I really wanted to know, like, what's a legume? What's a lentil? I didn't know. And somebody who's got a lot of time under their belt would be, well, it's a legume and a lentil. Go look it up. It's like, no, 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 no. Help me out here. Teach me what I need to know in very elementary terms, so that I don't wander off and not get the message. So as an expert, you oftentimes can become very jaded with your knowledge. Break it down, and remember, there are people that are just starting out. They don't know what you know. And I have one mentor who said, what comes easy to us is what we charge the most for, because just because it's easy to us, it's not easy to everybody else. So keep in mind that you know things that other people don't know, and they do want to know. So again, the three things that we talked about today in blogging your way to a book: strategic outlining, very important; consistently writing; and social proof. Those are the three keys that will help you to blog your way to a book. And next week, we're going to go deeper into the topic of blogging. And I encourage you, visit our website at veganvisibilityproductions.com. That's veganvisibilityproductions.com. And we're actually getting ready to launch our blog very shortly on that. I've blogged for years. VLynn has blogged for years.
Mhm.
But we're bringing you a new flavor to blogging through the Vegan Visibility Productions website. This is Kathleen Gage and
VLynn Hawkins. Blogging is an exceptional tool to get started your book with. So thank you for joining us today, and we will look forward to seeing you next time as we do our Vive Lives.
absolutely. And remember to leave a comment and let us know what
And
you're doing to blog your book. There you go.
subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes. All right.